Hi everyone, my name is Splin and every Friday I issue a video digest of the motorcycle news. A few weeks ago I told you about the rumors that Honda was working on a travel-oriented version of a Rebel, and the rumors turned out to be true. Honda launched a bagger called CMX1100T Rebel at EICMA. Let's see what kind of bike it is. The engine is the same, 1084 parallel twin, set up to have high torque at low revs and nice torque at average revs. Honda states that the motorcycle was designed for relaxed long-distance riding, but the difference with the base version are quite limited. A batwing fairing with a small windshield and two plastic cases at the rear with overall volume of 35 liters, and that's about it. These adjustments increase the weight of the bike by 15 kilograms. Total weight is 238 kilograms. A DCT version of the bike is also available and it weighs 10 kilograms more. Let us now talk about some motorcycle art. We have two new models by MV Agusta. The first one is limited edition of the Superveloce, and believe me, that's exactly what a limited edition should look like. The name of the model is Superveloce 1000 Serie Oro, and MV enthusiasts realize that this is a completely new model compared to the standard Superveloce. Look at the bike, it's a steroid version of the light and elegant Superveloce 800. The motorcycle looks much more evil, and the wings, quite massive ones, are especially cool. The covers of the brake discs are also quite nice. The company claims the covers also improved cooling. Moreover, all of the plastic parts of the bike, except for the tank, are not plastic. They are carbon and very different from the ones on Superveloce 800. But it's not only about the looks. From technical perspective of the motorcycle has nothing to do with the standard Superveloce. Why so? Because it's entirely engine frame suspension based on Brutale 1000RR. This means that instead of 3-cylinder inline engine, it has a 998cc 4-cylinder inline engine with a counter-rotating crankshaft delivering 208 horsepower at 13,000 RPM in the standard version and 212 horsepower with a racing kit installed. Both suspensions are electronically adjustable Yolins with only preload adjusted manually. The damper is also adjustable, also by Yolins. Front brake is 4-piston monoshock Brembo Stylimo with 320mm discs. The signature MV4 outlet exhaust is titanium, designed by Aero specifically for this bike. Electronic-wise, the motorcycle has engine management system with its own settings and IMU, so both traction control and ABS are lean angle sensitive, and the bike has anti-wheelie and anti-stoppage system. The bike has a 5.5-inch TFT dashboard which connects to the smartphone. In my view, the limited version seems a success and will be a desirable addition to any motorcycle collection. I would recommend the colleagues from Ducati to consider such an approach to designing limited editions. The second new model is currently a concept, but an interesting one. When designing this bike, MV Agusta derived inspiration from its classic naked bikes and was elaborating on how those bikes might look in the 21st century. The approach that MV undertook is really different from anything else. Round headlight, round speedometer and spoked wheels, while the traditional approach to building new retro bikes. But MV approach to 921S involved rethinking of every classical element of the bike, so the 921S doesn't look like any other bike. Despite the fact that it's only a concept, MV has announced the planned tech specs. The engine type is a 4-cylinder inline delivering 115 horsepower, surprisingly enough given the fact that MV currently doesn't have such an engine. The torque is quite juicy at 116 Newton meters. Looks like the engine capacity would be around 1000 cc, so 921 in the name of the model is likely to be capacity. As for the view, tastes differ, but in my view, design-wise MV currently does the most beautiful and distinctive serial naked bikes in the world, and I definitely like such a projection for the design of future models. Have a look at the covers of the brake discs, similar to Superveloce 1000, and at the backs of the rider's seat. I think it's beautiful. By the way, I've already seen a few comments along the lines of ugly bike, how on earth could that have designed it, and so on. If you have a similar view, please share in the comments what exactly makes you think so. Now let's talk a bit about technologies. Brembo presented its most advanced braking solutions at EICMA. Let's start with the new monoblock calipers called GP4MS. Brembo claims they were born on track and designed for urban use. What is interesting about these calipers is that they are manufactured not by casting but by milling out of a piece of aluminum. This improves durability, and the solution is similar to the one used in MotoGP and WSBK. In addition to the calipers, Brembo presented the new master cylinder called 19RCS Corsa Corta RR. It's the lightest and the most racing-oriented main brake cylinder in Brembo range. It has hard oxidized titanium grey finish, which is darker than on the previous models MCS and RCS. This finish makes the cylinder more durable while keeping it light. According to Brembo, this model is the closest to the one which is used in Moto2, and some of the parts, like gaskets, are taken directly from MotoGP. Design of the brake lever has been changed for better feedback to the rider. It goes without saying the lever can be adjusted at quite wide range. One more new product, brake pads called Greenance, a mix of green and performance. These pads combined with thermostability with environmental friendlies. Copper, nickel, antimony and asbestos are not used. The idea is simple. If one can brake efficiently without producing harm to the environment, why not to do so? The Italian company Italjet brought two new models to EICMA, and both, in my opinion, represent small pieces of art in the area of industrial design. These models are new dragsters, ICE500GP and electric E01 Electric, the first electric model of the Italjet. Let's talk about the dragster range list. Dragster represents an unconventional approach of Italjet to the scooter type of vehicle. Dragster has steel open tube-based frame, lever-based front suspension similar to the one of Bimota, and very futuristic looks. These are currently 125cc and 200cc models in the range. The new ICE model is only a concept, but what a concept! Italjet was probably inspired by the new hyper-naked trend and decided to create a hyper scooter. The model looks very interesting. It's now much closer to a motorcycle. It has motorcycle foot pegs instead of platforms, the engine is now located inside the frame and it's not directly connected to the wheel. Instead, a triangle swing arm is attached to the crankcase, so that two rear shocks can fit into this unusual construction. Have a look at it from the side. The engine is 500cc, one-cylinder, liquid-cooled, delivering 43 horsepower at 8000 RPM. This is not too much for a maxi scooter, but this is not a maxi scooter. Also, the total weight is quite high, as much as 180 kilograms. The brakes are quite interesting as well. All Brembo calipers with a pair of 217mm discs at front and the one 230mm disc at the rear. The wheels are 15-inch. Let's move to an electric version with a really cool tech specs, given the fact that it's entirely urban vehicle. The power is not too high, it's 6 nominal kilowatts and 12 peak kilowatts, but the engine delivers a monstrous 360 Nm of torque at the wheel. The claimed range is 180 km in urban mode, which is excellent for an urban scooter if the owner has a power outlet in garage. If connected to the regular socket, the scooter will fully charge in 5.5 hours, while fast charge will take between 30 and 36 minutes. The suspension is much simpler than the one in the gasoline version. Monoshock both at front and at the rear. The brakes are also simple. 200mm single disc at front and 190mm disc at the rear. The wheels are of different sizes, 12-inch front wheel, 13-inch rear wheel. The weight of the scooter is 115 kilograms. The electric model is not a concept, it's ready for production and will be available for sale in the second half of 2023. Let's move to the next new model, an adventure bike by Voge called 900DS Adventure. I already talked about this bike when spy images leaked out, and now we know all the details. First of all, it's almost an exact copy of BMW F850 GS, which is not surprising at all. Chinese company Longqing that owns Voge produces engines for F850 and F900. The engine is exactly the same as on the F900R, 895cc liquid-cooled parallel twin delivering 96.5 horsepower complemented by a 6-gear transmission. The base version has two-sided quick shifter and slipper clutch with assistance. The throttle is ride-by-wire and the bike has various ride modes. The motorcycle has a large TFT dashboard, all the light is LED including anti-fog, there is a 12-volt power outlet and a USB port. Cruise control, heated grips and heated seat as well as 3 aluminum cases are available as options. The suspension is also quite advanced. It's fully adjustable, but according to the Chinese tradition, its travel has not been disclosed. The brakes are Brembo, but no details are available. The wheels are off-road oriented. Spoked wheels 21-inch at front and 17-inch at the rear. The specs sound really cool except for the dry weight as 212 kilograms. Let's see what the price will be. And the last piece of news for today is about the new Peugeot adventure scooter, the segment that has recently grown in popularity. The name of the model is XP400, and the looks of the scooter suggest that Peugeot was definitely inspired by Honda's ADV. The scooter has two modifications, road-oriented Allure and more off-road one called GT. Both modifications have the same plastic and tires, but the GT version has spoke tubeless wheels instead of alloy wheels. The scooter has a 400cc liquid-cooled one-cylinder engine delivering 37 horsepower, which is reasonable for such a scooter. The wheels are bigger than one could expect for such type of scooter, 17-inch at front and 15-inch at the rear. The GT version has crash bars at base, so that it can be dropped off-road without major consequences. Both versions have the same suspension, upside-down forks at front with not-so-off-road travel of 130mm and monoshock at the rear. The scooter has a TFT dashboard, USB port and plenty of space under the seat. Also, no specific numbers were revealed. What was really surprising for me personally was the weight of 231 kilograms. This is really a lot. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate your feedback and comments. See you next Friday.